Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new series that I have dubbed FISR, films I saw recently. Wonderful, I can't even say the name right that I even thought of in my head. Oh, this is going to be a wonderful start. My apologies. Anyway, FISR is films I saw recently. Basically, I talk about films that I have seen recently, and if you guys are interested, you watch the video. So, fun stuff. If you're interested in my opinion, then by all means, keep listening. Though keep in mind, I am actually not using a script for this per se. I am using notes that I remember from the film. And I'll be honest with you, I have a terrible memory, so I may do I'm also very timid. Hence the right there. Anyway, the movie I'm talking about right now, or I'm about to talk about, is Lethal Weapon, a 1980s action film. Also a buddy cop sort of movie. In fact, I damn near say it really popularized the buddy cop movies. I don't know if it made it, I seriously doubt that, but who knows, they might have. Well, from what I can tell, this is probably one of the most entertaining films I've seen in my life. I used to watch it a few times when I was a kid, like teenager years, a little bit before teenage years. And when I finally rewatched him on Netflix quite recently, as an adult now, about 20 and damn near 21, I have gained an incredible new appreciation for Lethal Weapon. But you didn't exactly click this video to figure out whether or not I consider this movie high up on my list. If you clicked on this video, I'm not really sure why you clicked on this video, probably because it's a new video for me I haven't seen yet. Either way, I am not making sense. I am absolutely tired. My apologies on this. Anyway, I am going to be talking about the two main characters of this film to try and see if I can get anyone to actually watch these films, because they are great. And it's a franchise, by the way, so that's why I said films. So, our main characters are Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh, both played by Mel Gibson and Danny Glover respectively. Both great actors with amazing amount of talent, in my opinion. The characters of Martin and Roger are very interesting, I think. In Lethal Weapon 1, the first scene I think we ever see of Riggs is when he... Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. Before I delve into anything spoilerish, I want to let you guys know I will be talking spoilers, so those of you who actually want to see the movie, or movies I talk about, do not watch my videos, because I don't want to spoil the movies for you. Go ahead and watch them first, then come back and watch this. These videos can wait, trust me. The movies, however, cannot. They're much better than these videos. Anyway, that's over with. The first time we ever see Martin Riggs at all in the film, I think, is when he is about to take down a few, drug dealers, and he is acting as the buyer. You know, a sting operation, that sort of thing. And it starts out, the whole charade and this and enough. He tests some of their, stuff to make sure it's actually legitimately drugs and such. As well as tries to make them think he actually really is buying. Not even though he's actually, a cop. But basically this is what happens. This is what happens. He lets them know that he's a cop and that they are all going to jail, even though they pretty much call his badge fake. They think he's just a fake guy putting on a cop facade sort of thing, until he pulls on a gun and he says this awesome line of, that's a real badge, I'm a real cop, and this is a real fucking gun. I honestly just love that line. I don't know why, but anyway. a lot of things I like about this movie that really revolve around Riggs himself. He is just enjoyable to watch, and when he gets, well, later on in the film, he gets very pissed, shall we say. Not as pissed as the second film, but pretty pissed off. And it's quite awesome. I'm not gonna lie. And basically, what I can tell, after that first scene of pretty much, well, taking down all the idiots who thought they could take him out, the drug dealers, that is, Riggs is assigned to Roger as his new partner. Now, keep in mind, Roger has just turned 50 years old. He's been thinking about retiring from the force. You know, he's getting up there in the years. He'd rather live out his life in retirement. And I can honestly see that. But when it comes to, oh, damn it. There we go. When it comes to their relationship in terms of how they work together as characters, as people, really, I damn near consider them people. They are polar opposites. Roger wants to just, get through his life and such, just to live his life in peace in retirement, like I said before. Riggs, however, wants to keep on trying to, be a cop. But really, I've barely given you any backstory, and I sort of feel bad about it now. Well, okay. Roger's a family man. He wants to basically just settle down and such. He has 3 kids, a wife, and a nice home. And Riggs has no family. He has nothing. His wife was killed in a car, in a traffic collision, I believe. And he pretty much has no outside family interaction, or he has no outside family whatsoever. He and Raj were both in the Vietnam War, as we learn later in the film. But it's really not that important to the plot. It's just a nice little tidbit of information, like for the backstory of the characters, which is always nice. So they can relate to each other in at least one way or another. Though I have a feeling most people like to forget about war in general if they're a part of it. I wouldn't blame anyone for doing so. Anyway, what was it? Riggs is a lot more sort of tense, well, not tense, but much more younger, much easy. It's very easy for him to literally kick someone straight to the curb and just totally look like it was just him picking up the newspaper. It's like that may have been the most awesome thing you've seen all day, but to him that was Tuesday. That sort of thing. When it comes to Roger, however, he is much more... He's sort of the mindset of just let it be, please don't, please, that sort of thing. Let the guys who, proper jobs, like the bomb squad, handle the situation that they are specially trained to do. Riggs gets him in trouble quite a few times in the series as of dragging him along for this sort of thing. Anyway, their relationship. I'm getting way off track here. Like I said, I'm really tired. My apologies. Right. Their relationship is a very odd one. Basically, Roger and Riggs are pretty much assigned the last minute to look into a case of an apparent suicide jumper. I think the name of the jumper actually in the film is Amanda Hunsucker. I'm probably way off on that. I'm going off the top of my head here, plus me being tired does not help. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. 1 a.m. in the morning, yes, that's Department of Redundancy Department, hello. Sorry, either way, I believe it is Amanda Hunsucker. However, this is kind of interesting considering that she is the daughter of Michael Hunsucker, a man who once saved Roger's life in Vietnam, and they have actually kept in touch over the years after the war. It's actually pretty awesome how they all tie this in together with little tidbits of information and the backstory of the characters. That's what I've always liked about this. Riggs was a part of the Vietnam War also, like I said before, but his expertise of it was much more black ops, special forces, that sort of thing. Very infiltration, setting explosives, and detonating them, assassination possibly. They don't really go into specifics as to what kind of operations he was a part of. But I remember they do mention one operation that I honestly can't remember the name of. But he does say that he fought a couple of mercenaries over in Vietnam, so I don't know what that means. But after the whole, thing there, basically they're looking into it, and there are points in their relationship that make it very interesting and very good to watch. We see Riggs stopping by Roger's home and interacting with his family, like Trish, Roger's wife, and Rianne, Murtaugh's daughter, Roger Murtaugh, in case you forgot his name. Which, I don't even know why I'm saying that. I'm stupid, sorry. Oh man, I'm so tired. Let's see, yes. There's just an interesting thing about how Riggs is sort of, not latching on, but sort of just staying within that family of just like nowhere else to go really. Doesn't know anyone else. The only family he really knows right now, ever since his wife died. And it was just very interesting. How they basically, I'm sorry, I don't mean to pause for long periods of time. Like I said, I'm new to this whole recording voice for a long time stuff, which it's already been almost 14 minutes. Oh boy. But anyway, Riggs is really no one. In fact, I'm going to give you an example as to how desperate Riggs is to reach out. While this scene was not used in the final cut of the film, there was a scene where Riggs, it was the first scene we see with Riggs, by the way, aside from the whole drug dealer one. This would have been our first scene. We see Riggs getting, basically finding a prostitute at the late at night and taking her to his home on the beach and watching the Three Stooges with her. He's that lonely. Yeah. I wish he wasn't, but he is. It was a cut scene from the film, not used at all, which upset me a bit, but, I actually would have liked to see that. And that shows, in my opinion, a lot about the character, and actually he's not that far off. Even without that that scene missing, or not missing, but not in the film, it's still quite apparent that he is quite lonely because, really, the only time he really spends time with a family is Roger's family. He really has nowhere else to go. And even then, um, as they continue further in the investigation, they keep talking to each other and getting to know each other more. Though I always found their initial meeting to be the best moment of those two on screen. Martin is in the police station dressed up as a regular civilian, just regular hat, clothes, didn't have his cop uniform on, or any sort of suit. And Roger doesn't know he's a cop. He thinks he's some sort of civvy they brought in not civvy, sorry, a civilian or a citizen they brought in for questioning, arrest, or just overall, I have a complaint sort of thing. And when Riggs pulls out his gun to, check, check the safety, that sort of thing, Roger doesn't know, cop thing. He calls gun and tries to take the gun from his hands because he doesn't know. Riggs hands his ass to him, sends him flying to the floor, and points his gun at him while Roger is completely helpless. I'm pretty much dazed by that because he did not expect Riggs to just totally flip him, quite literally. And honestly, it's one of my favorite scenes in the entire film because it's how they meet, and it already tells a lot about each other. It already tells a lot about the characters. Riggs is very, combat oriented. He knows when to. He's sort of like I almost want to say he's like. I can't think of anyone right now. Damn it. Sort of like Jackie Chan, and if Jackie Chan were to go with guns also. But he's not as good as Jackie Chan, but trust me, he's good. Let's see. Roger, his reaction during that whole entire scene, we see him just sort of, looking a bit warily at him. Not warily, but sort of suspicious of him, not sure who he is and such. But when it comes down to it, he will lay down his life and pretty much everything in the entire, well, not vicinity, but his life, his fighting prowess to keep everyone safe. A true blue cop, a very good one. And it's just it's a very nice scene. I honestly really like it. Okay, now on to the second part of my notes. Yes, I have parts of this. This is going to be a long one. Supporting characters. The supporting characters include Trish, Rianne, let's see. I can't, for some reason my brain is not functioning. The police captain, there we go. I can't remember his name exactly. But if you know the guy, you know who I'm talking about. He's like the cousin of the director, I think. And he's in every single Lethal Weapon, but he plays the captain who pretty much tells everyone what to do and what to focus on. Murphy, that's his name, Murphy. Captain Murphy. Basically, he's actually a pretty good character. I recall him basically being very, damn it. I recall him being very, sort of like laid back at first. Sort of like letting them know, not laid back, sorry. Sort of like, alright, buddy, I'm gonna quote Mass Effect here. He knows when to crack the whip and when to let things slide. He's a lot like David Anderson from Mass Effect. Not even kidding. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they took Captain Murphy's character and put it on David Anderson. That's essentially the same character. An awesome character, but same character. Oh, I wonder though. I mean, I kind of wonder about what would it be like for a Lethal Weapon prequel with Murphy as the main character, about his adventures and crap like that. Significantly interesting to me. But then again, I doubt people want to see that sort of thing. They'd be more interested in, Riggs and Murtaugh. At least fans of the series. I really don't have anything else to say on Murphy, though. I kind of feel bad about it. Well, that's what I get for not actually writing Harper notes. Let's see. Yes, Trish and Rhiann. Trish, while Roger's wife, of course, is a very not interesting, but very unique sort of character. She doesn't have much to say in the first film, but in the second and I think third movies, she gets a much bigger role. And trust me, it is a well-deserved role. In the second film, she is pretty much instrumental in foreshadowing one of the major plot reveals of the second movie. I am not going to reveal that plot spoiler. Never will unless you see them in film. But for that, you'll want to see the first one. So that's what I'm trying to convince you people. Sorry about that. Trish is also a very, good mother. She has raised 3 children along with Roger. And pretty much, she cares deeply about her children, as any mother really should, in my opinion. And just an all-around very nice character to, see on screen, just because they're, a good character. You like them. Rhiann, Roger's oldest daughter. Roger has 3 children, 2 daughters, a son, and I believe the second daughter is the youngest, while his son is in the middle of the age discrepancies. There we go. But Rhiann is the oldest. By the first movie, she is about 15 to 17, I think. I could be wrong, though. I honestly have no clue. But suffice to say, she's a teenager, and like all teenagers, we make plenty of mistakes. Remember that time when you dunked your head in the toilet bowl and flushed? Yeah, not so smart, was it? Or shall we say smoked pot and got caught. Yeah, Rhiann smoked pot and got caught. That's why she is sort of in trouble with her dad in the film. Though keep in mind, I have not done any of those in my high school days, thank God. Otherwise I would be far more regretful of my youth. But, let's see. Rhiann is also... Rhiann, not Rhiann, sorry. Rhiann is very... is your typical sort of teenage girl. She is... I don't really see anything that different about her. She is a very... well, okay. She's not a awesomely interesting character. She actually has a lot more to say and do in the next couple of films. She's more... Lethal Weapon was more of a just regular action film before it grew into something more. When Lethal Weapon 2 was released and 3 and 4 became pretty damn good. But when it comes to Rhiann, she wasn't as developed back then as she is now. But when it comes to, her as a character, so far in the film, she's not that bad. Pretty much all she does in the film is just be Roger's daughter, have a few expository lines of dialogue to basically let the viewer know like what their past relationship is like in the family and such. It's just your usual sort of family relationship in a film. It was kind of funny considering how often we've seen that nowadays when action films were doing this back in the 80s. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, off my ramblings of the supporting characters, which is pretty much like nothing, so I can't think of a damn thing to say. We got to the plot. The plot of Lethal Weapon is possibly one of the greatest plots for an action film I have seen. It's very entertaining. It's entertaining, exciting, and you actually feel like you're in the sort of the plot, with them and such, because you've grown to like these characters. They fight against many enemies. There is no shying away from killing, because let's be honest, it's a realistic world. There's gonna be a death or two. Or as the sniper put it from TF2, as long as there's 2 people left on the planet, someone is gonna want someone dead. And in that regard, there's always gonna be fighting in that regard. Lovely. I can't even speak in any real way anymore. Oh, that's what I get for trying to record this late. Anyway, the plot is just very entertaining. We have Gary Busey as one of the major bad guys, and he plays possibly one of the more calmer villains, even though during a few action sequences, he's like, damn it. Just he sort of acts like me or anyone else who's played a action game and pause the game and go like, well, crap, this sucks. Like, you're caught in the middle of nowhere and you're attacked by 5 dudes who all can kick your ass in no time. And you pause the game and you're like, well, shit, I'm kinda fucked, aren't I? He sort of has that face on him whenever I see him. But yeah, the plot is very solid. It's I have to admit, it's actually a very fun film to watch, as well as not intellectually stimulating. I have plenty of films that can do that, I know of. But when it comes to just, popcorn flick, then this is the one for you. And on to the finale. Now the finale of this video, both the finale of this video, as well as the finale of the movie. The finale is basically resolved into a fist fight between Riggs and one of the evil dudes. I will not say because I'd rather be surprised those who actually wish to watch the film. By the way, those who wish to watch it, wish to watch this movie. It is on Netflix right now, and it is rated R for a very good reason. So you may not want to let your young ones watch this. However, that's only if you choose to let them. There is nudity, there is violence, there is gore, there is swearing, plenty of swearing. Trust me. But I'm getting off track. The finale. The finale basically culminates into probably one of the better gunfights I've seen in cinema. I happen to recall watching a bunch of action films after seeing Lethal Weapon for the first time and thinking to myself, wow, this almost reminds me of Lethal Weapon. And I keep thinking to myself back then, looking back on those films, that they still aren't as good as Lethal Weapon's action scenes. I must have seen maybe 10 action films when I finished watching Lethal Weapon when I was younger. It was to help keep me busy and such, because my parents were busy as hell back when I was younger. And now I pretty much have to get busy as hell. Damn jobs. But either way, I remember thinking to myself that Lethal Weapon 1 had a really fun and really cool finale with the gunfights and car chases, proper action and shit. Cop stuff. And when it comes to the other films I saw, I think I saw films like, God, I think I might have seen like Steven Seagal films. Oh, God. That would have been, oh man. I'm sorry, I can't stand that guy. Oh boy. Well, I'm not going to talk about him any further. Back on to what's actually relevant. Basically, it all culminates in one hell of a brawl between Riggs and a main baddie, and, and a nice joke at the near end of it all. Uh, if you get to the end of it, by the way, there is no like end credits little thing, cliffhanger, bull crap people are doing these days. I can't believe people are doing that. Lazy bastards. And the film essentially closes on a very nice note of basically Riggs and Roger pretty much actually. I think they. I think Riggs actually. I think Riggs actually is invited over for dinner on Christmas. I think. So it's a nice ending. You know, despite all the death, destruction, and horrible things done to people, we can still celebrate a bit of Christmas. Sort of like the whole thing of Santa Claus is gunning you down, sort of thing, you know. Bit of twisted humor, and there's plenty of nice bits of tonal dissonance. I think the wording is in the film. There's plenty of it. And while you may not see them as you may not see the characters as fully developed right now, trust me, once you see the first one and you see the second, third, and fourth movies, there's only 4 movies out there, and I'm quite thankful for that, you will see that the characters really, really grow. At least from 1 to 3. 4 was more of just, let's have one more ride before the sun sets on our great franchise, but, you know. Alright, I think that's actually it for me talking about Lethal Weapon. I hope you enjoyed this episode of FISR, films I saw recently, and keep in mind that these films are, well, ones I've seen recently. If you feel the need that I should see a film, that if you'd like me to talk about it, then please go ahead and post in the comments, or, send me a personal message, and I will see as to where I can find it. Hopefully on Netflix, or if I'm lucky, I have the film already and I can just watch it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.